I'm with you on.
All right,
It's like
welcome everybody to In the Name of Progress. My name is Matt in a Hat, and I am running this game for my good friends in America. Welcome to all three of you, and thank you so much for being here. We have been on a little bit of a hiatus while I was doing some work. And while others were busy with personal matters, but we are back today and we will have a fairly loose monthly-ish kind of schedule, but we will do our best to be here approximately monthly to play this game together, to spend time together, and to hopefully tell a good story. Very quick refresh on what has happened up to date. Our characters, Ashley, Lorenzo, and Lynx, uh, some of you are Throneport regulars, have been here for some time. Some of you are new to Throneport, but you have all recently met Rontaltain, the face of the council, and you have secured some jobs from him. And we went into the sewers to see what was going on there, and we found some very disturbing things. There were these ooze monsters that had apparently been gotten there through the sewers from somewhere else, and we sort of traced that back through the Labour Employment Services to the Wayfinder Society. And we went to the Wayfinder Society to question them, and they told us that there would be a little bit of a wait before we could get some official news. But then they gave us a lead, and they said that a local family that are customers of theirs had gone missing, and they said that Rontaltain would probably be interested in hearing about that and in having us follow that up. We made sure that that was the case, and Rontal said, absolutely, please go and investigate that. And so we started to make that investigation. We went to this family's home where we found their friend and caretaker of the property. And he was able to tell us that the family had gotten dressed up on Saturday to go to the Thranish Museum. He was quite surprised that they were doing such because it was relatively expensive for people of this kind of income to be going there. He told us what they were wearing and a little bit of a description of them, who they sort of were. He told us that they didn't really have any enemies that he could think of, and that they were generally well liked. The community of farmers seems pretty tight. Everyone seems to just work hard. And while there is competition amongst some of the farmers, it seems pretty friendly from what we can tell. So we followed that lead to the Thranish Museum, where we met a person who I have named since, I think. Let's have a look. Elias. His name will be Elias. And this this man told us that he just worked here. He wasn't really responsible for the price. He he told us a little bit about what to expect in the museum, and he wouldn't let us in without paying until we mentioned not Rontaltain's name, but the name of the Wayfinder Society, the Wayfinder Guild. And so, upon saying that we worked for them and that they had asked us to follow this up, he was like, "Oh yes, please come in." Just flipped a switch, and that is kind of where we left off. There, you know, these maps are fairly simple, so apologies about the quality there, but we will mostly be relying on theatre of mind. So a little bit of a return to what this place looks like. So you've got very solid stone building. It's kind of a sandstone, so a yellowy kind of stone, and uh, it is obviously quite old. There's a little bit of age to the stone, but it is quite solid still. There's no crumbling or anything like that. And above reception is a massive skeleton of a dragon, several hundred years old, almost 1,000 years old. This skeleton, which was quite the sight when we arrived here, and we are headed to our left to see what else is in this museum. So we have Lorenzo, Lynx, and Ashley. The game is yours.
Um, Ashley gives Lorenzo and Lynx like a giant hug in the okay, I feel like I haven't seen you guys in a while, but let's go onward.
Just all of a sudden. By the way, really quick,
Oh, I miss you guys dearly.
really quick, I should mention, I did have one thing that I will do here. Now, as part of last session, we did some role play around some combat training. And so, at the start of this session, what I would like to do is offer you each one free skill point, skill rank in a combat skill of your choice, up to 10 points, no more than 10 points. So you can either train something to 5 or train something to 10. So that's either one dot of training or 2 ranks of training if you already have 1. No more than the second rank of training, but you just put 1 rank in whatever it is. So if you've already got a rank, you
Okay,
add a
I
rank, and
see.
if you don't have a rank, you can add a rank.
Sweet.
Uh,
And it was weapons, right?
Yeah. He was teaching us about using our weapons. Now, Lorenzo, it is up to you if you want to put a rank in weapons, or I will offer you the chance to, if you prefer, and it is your choice, to put it up into leadership instead, because you are the one that undertook that training for us.
Yeah, that would make more sense. So I'll put it in leadership. Let me see.
All right, so that will go up to whatever. If you had a rank in there, then it will go up to 2 ranks. If you didn't, then it will go up to 1.
My leadership was already 2.
Okay.
You want me to put it up to like negotiations already 2. I can rank up discipline.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That makes sense for me. Sounds good. And that's just as a result of realizing that your companions and yourself could use a little bit of assistance and going through the effort of the wonderful montage of training that happened last time. So thank you guys. And yes, now I will officially hand the game over to you, and it is in your hands. Go for it.
Here we go. Oh, you're so sweet.
Wait,
Ashley,
check out Dragon.
that's just sweet. Well, shall we proceed?
sure. As soon as Ashley stops rubbing the back of my hair.
If this place is anything like this amazing skeleton out here, I'm sure we're
Wait,
in
what?
for a treat.
Yeah, and as you approach the western door, you will see that it opens up into a kids play area. And so what you have is a fenced off area. There's about uh, the section between the 2 doors is open, and then the rest of it is kind of fenced off with a uh, a clicky fence, so that the kids can stay in here and be secure. If they are not interested in the rest of the museum, maybe younger kids, things like that. And you can see that there's very simple play equipment. So there's a table with some coloring in, lots of different pencils of different colors, and there's some this substance that you'd be familiar with and have seen around, which is like this tacky substance that you can put onto the backs of pictures and post them up onto the wall. And so number of kids previously have posted their colouring ins and their scribble and all sorts of things up onto the wall here in this play area. There's like a little swing and a slide and a sort of multi-level climbing section, as well as this sort of more quiet area. There's even a sand pit, those sorts of things here where the kids can play. And yeah, there isn't any kids here right now in the play equipment or on the play equipment, but you see that that's there. So that is what is in this room.
I wish I could have come here when I was a kid. This looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Entertaining.
Ashley, where are you from, by the way?
I am from
Checks.
Skimble Shacks. I, as the player, do not quite remember where Ashley is originally from, but let's see if I did a good job at putting it in her
Yeah.
in there.
We will
Also,
say
fine
I've
to do.
got
Yeah, no.
Mary. Uh,
Let's see, character info.
so you were an entertainer and a drag queen.
Huh? It's like of the city. I should be like, well, Skimble Shack. That's where I've been residing. But before that, I can't remember if I think they may have always been from this town, but
Oh, okay. Okay. So I might have gotten that wrong. That's okay. So yeah, the what you would know then, let me just grab that. I'll open this. So, edit find. Okay, so the Skimble Shack is in the Bright Quarter in the Thranish district. So, in fact, if you were from there or are from there, then you know you'd probably know a little bit about this museum. In fact, but yes, so the Bright Quarter is uh, bright because it is constantly lit thanks to a supply of transmuted coal and soot coming out of Silverlight, and the the streets are always lit with the lanterns that burn with the coal, and the establishment where you've been entertaining, at least for a while, um, is the Skimble Shack, and you know Kurzog and Earmark, the goblin brother and sister who are innkeepers there, and who previously were entertainers on the Lightning Rail.
yeah. Emotions. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes, there is perhaps a reference there. Um, yeah, so you can let Lorenzo know that.
I hope you're listening very well there, Lorenzo, because I ain't repeating that again.
It is funny it took so long for me to have met you.
Hmm. I mean, pretty sure you and I both come from different walks. Same place, but it is a large city.
I'm not sure I want to know what you mean by that. Anyway, what is to this other door?
All right, so that is where the gallery starts, and so as you come into this area, you will have lots of different art. All of the art. Oh, that door over there. There is a one-way door over there, and seeing
Hmm.
what you will see through there is a shop. It is the shop where
Okay.
people exit out from to try and get people to spend more money. But um, in this area, we have all of the walls here are lined with art, and there are different sections of art. Uh, Depending on where you are at. Let me just zoom out just a little bit so that we can see that a little bit better. And what you see coming up is uh, it's kind of like a little platform seat. So there's cushioned seats that are the green of this area that you can sit on. People can sit on and have a rest. There are billboards, so in between the seats. So the backs of the seats are facing each other, and in between are like billboards of advertising for various things around the Thranish district, businesses that have either sponsored this museum or otherwise have paid to be advertised here. So there's various things advertised on those billboards. You will see a little garden area here, but otherwise it is sort of just a seating area, and there is art all around you. All of the art is done by Thranish artists, or has Thrain as its topic. So you have everything from agricultural landscapes to working man type of uh, art with people actually doing their agriculture. You have some historical pieces about their religion and happenings over the many hundreds, if not thousands of years that we've been here. So the main religion here in Thrain is the Silver Flame, which is so Thrain is actually a theocracy, with the Silver Flame being the religion that sort of uh, runs the government.
Mhm.
And so there's a bunch of things about the Silver Flame, about its founding, about the Coatls who helped secure the land from the evil of Khyber, imprison the overlords, things like that. And so there's, you know, think history, think religion, think agriculture. Um, all of those things are represented here. There's even an area that's all about like Thranish peoples, from simple farmers to sort of the highest up of the clergy, and there's portraits of different people and stuff like that. There's all sorts of things here.
Very informational.
Yeah. You will also see that, as was pointed out by the um, receptionist Elias, he pointed out that you would find a war memorial with the uniforms of the Thranish Guard, and that during the war, and indeed you do see that. So the war memorial side of things is where Lynx is at right now. You off to the right hand side here, which you can only really just sort of see a little bit of from here, but over here you will find architecture. So there's historical buildings and some landscapes over that side. Coming up to the end of the room, you will see the area that he pointed out, which was a special exhibit, which is a housing exhibit. So it has all different types of houses with, different materials for insulation, that sort of stuff, and it's informational about how environmentally friendly this could be, how energy efficient these things could be, and that exhibit is plastered with advertisement for the Wayfinder Society. So you're getting a bit of a picture now as to why you were let in here, because effectively the Wayfinder Society has put a lot of money into this place, let's say that. Yeah.
Interesting. But what do I see?
So you will find over this side a privy. There's a section for men and for women. So that is there, and a wash up area. Off to the right, you will find the current exhibit of Shadow Car, which is an old ruin, and it has like information about the army that fought there and about what happened. It has some eyewitness reports and some post uh, post ruin reports done. It has some art that depicts some of the happenings, not at the time, but looking back as to depictions of what might have happened during the siege of Shadow Car. And if any of you are interested, I do have some of that information available for you should you be interested.
Brain.
Weren't we looking for? We were here looking for connections to a family, though, right?
Yes, that is right. Yeah, so we know that the family came here on Saturday. Um, or at least that's what we were told. There are signs in the guest book that two families of four did come through here, so one of those families could be the Thranish family that we're looking for. At this stage, we see no sign of them, obviously. That was Saturday, it's now Thursday. But I'm just sort of telling you what exhibits are here and giving you a bit of a look. So depending on how you want to go about this, whether you're interested in any of this art, I will be getting each of you to make actually Actually, what I'll do, instead of making checks, what I'll do is this. So I'm going to ask you each a question here as to what sort of art would most catch your eye. So have a think about your character. What sort of art do you think would most catch your eye? And I will give you a little glimpse into what you see in regards to that.
Nobility or Ashley, anything with like gowns, especially just really detailed portraits.
Okay.
Um, I guess like very kind of Renaissance-y.
Yeah. Absolutely. So what I can do for you then, as you look at mostly the costumed portraits and things like that, you will find a marvelous portrait that just catches your eye and really just makes you sort of stand and like really look closely, and then sort of, you know how you'll look at the details close up and then you'll step back and sort of start to take in the whole
Yeah.
picture. As this
Yeah.
this picture, this painting is quite detailed, and so this picture, this painting that you're looking at, and I will post this up in the chat here in the journal. All right, so in the Thranish Museum, there is lots of art. Here is what each of the characters take notice of. All right, so we have Ashley. So, portrait of Melisse Maron, legendary paladin. Actually, it was arch paladin of the Silver Flame. Okay, so yeah, you see this portrait of Melisse Myron, the legendary arch paladin of the Silver Flame, and she is gorgeous. uh, she is not actually. So there are a couple of pictures of her, all kind of like in the same section. There is a picture of her in her full regalia, her arch paladin regalia, and there's also a picture of her in this marvelous beaded gown that's got like gossamer thread, sort of that glitters in the light of this chandelier that hangs over her.
Yeah, like someone would probably overhear Ash just go, "Oh, she cleans up well."
Yeah.
Lorenzo smirks when he hears Ashley say that.
Yeah, I think basically, all thought of people were probably supposed to be looking for is kind of gone out Ashley's mind as they're just enthralled, taking in these details, thinking of like, okay, can I make a wig like that? Or maybe I'll have to keep my eye open. This could be something new, bringing a little history. I don't know. And just kind of like maybe mumbling a little bit to themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you're having a look at that. I'm just gonna quickly see. So yeah. One thing of note is that you do see that the one of the pictures that you sort of, because you I was drawn to the both the regalia one and the gown one, and as you continue to look, you will see that actually there's a bust here of her head, um, uh, sort of up to just the edge of her shoulders, right, and down. Doesn't quite encapsulate the lower half of her body or even her torso. It's just that cut off. And you will notice that that bust is very rustic. In fact, it's so rustic as to, if you hadn't seen the rest of these pictures, you would swear that she was just a commoner in this bust.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
But she
Huh.
certainly cleans up well.
Oh, yes. That's very clear.
Yeah. Yeah. And lastly, you would see that This, like most of the pieces here, were dated for like about 490 YK, and it's 999 YK now. So she's not been here for some time.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So who would like to go next? Who has an idea about what their character's eye would get caught on?
I know Lorenzo would be generally, if art's going to catch Lorenzo's eye, it's going to be either something about the mooring or Dol Ara
Yeah.
as well would catch Lorenzo's eye, and anything that's about like common people here in the city of Thornport.
Well, okay. So the art is mostly about Thrain, not about Throneport itself.
Okay. Well, I don't think Bill Ora is gonna be in this then.
Yeah. So
But the morning would also. Those would
yeah,
be the things I would think.
just getting a little bit of a picture here. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, not that. There's not too much about Dollar because Thrain is very Silver Flame
Yeah,
oriented.
yeah.
There are some little entries about people that revere Dollar even though their religion is primarily the Silver Flame. Not everyone follows the Silver Flame, obviously. It's more a state religion kind of thing. So there are still people that follow Dollar. So you'll see Dollar's symbol, and a little bit of information about her. Um, and she's portrayed as a human knight in this case. Sometimes she has been portrayed as a half elf from time to time, but here in Thrain she is depicted as a human knight shining with holy radiance. Um, and you'll see beside her there is a red dragon perched atop a cloud, which you do recognize also as a depiction of Dolara. So there is both of those here. There is this little section of other religions. So there's like 2 or 3 pictures and a little dossier about why people revere them and stuff in Throneport. Not much, in Thrain. Not much besides. But you were saying that you're interested in the common person.
The common
And
person or the morning.
the morning. Yeah, there's not really anything here about the morning. There is just a standard like memorial that says this memorial is to the lives that were lost in the morning and in the war, and lists some names and stuff like that. But there's nothing terribly detailed. It's more just like this is a memorial. However, there's lots of art and information about the common people of Thrain. And one painting will particularly catch your eye. I will go through that in a second because I want to quickly touch on Lynx first. So Lynx, what would Lynx's eye be caught on?
Well, Lynx has a few things. The first would be in the children's room among the art. she would have looked to see if there was anything by either with maybe that the kids had signed or something, Daniela and Tomas.
Yeah.
Right, and yeah. So she'd look for that. Among the military stuff, I think if there was like a weapons exhibit, she'd be interested in weapons that would suit her. Probably archery stuff, or she's dexterity, she's probably preferring ranged weapons, so those would probably catch her eye. And the last thing may not exist, and that would be if there's any like mechanical drawings of like how things go together, carts, especially like assemblies on carts, like how the wheels are put together, and evolution of the wheels, styles and stuff like that would probably really interest her. Anything, related to her line of work.
Okay. Let me have a quick look here then. Okay. So there are only a couple of Thranish specific weapons. They're fairly generic, mostly because their weapons are. You could think of this as like plowshares to swords, right? And then swords to plowshares after, right? Like so, they're fairly agricultural, but you do see two weapons. Both they're variations of each other that definitely stand out to you. This is the Thranish Greatbow, in fact. Now, I know that Lynx herself is more of a sort of an agile person, but these weapons are not that. They are definitely made for strength because these bows are big. they're very, very big, and that's what catches your eye. So there are two variations of the Thranish Greatbow that are on display. One is a relatively standard historic Thranish Greatbow, and the other one is a composite Thranish Greatbow, which requires even more strength to wield. And so you will see these, and immediately, so you won't see them and go, "Oh, I could use that." You see them and
Right.
think the opposite, right? Like,
Right. Visual, and wow, how does anybody even manage to operate this thing?
right. But you think about that, and you think about the people who were operating them. These are farmers who have every day in physical labor,
Yeah.
right? So they are often extremely strong. They can just carry entire hay bales on their backs and stuff like that, and they're working the land every single day, and so a lot of the pictures of them will show them quite fit, in a simple way, in an agricultural minded way. So that's what catches your eye as far as the weapons go.
Lynx kind of looks at her muscles like, I know my rickshaw, like I know I'm somewhat strong, but I don't think these are up to the task.
The examples of great bow, it's a Thranish great bow and composite Thranish great bow. Yeah. So
It's the
as far
working
as
with
mechanics go, there's not really much as far as that here in the museum, but you did point out that you were looking at the kids' paintings, and real quick, you do find one of the kids' pictures that is up on the wall does have a D and a T written on it in different color paint or crayon or whatever, with a simple depiction of a field with some horses.
Oh. Wow, maybe someday I'll have horses.
All right, so back to Lorenzo. Lorenzo, you will see this picture, and it is entitled Iten Moment. And what you see is so it's mostly a landscape painting. The landscape is a rather tall hill with a chapel on at the peak. It is called Iten Moment, and there are a few things that catch your eye about this painting. Initially, it's just the style in which it is made. It's quite different style to a lot of the paintings here. A lot of the paintings here are fairly rustic in nature. Not all of them, some of them are more abstract, but a lot of them are quite, quite rustic, quite, detailed, real to life kind of paintings. This is less real to life. In fact, this one's using watercolors. And so it's very bright, catches your eye, and this road or path leads up this hill. It sort of curves back and forth, and leads up this hill towards this chapel. You see that the chapel, the doors of the chapel currently are closed. You can see that just by looking at it. But you can see that while it is sort of back in the painting, it is also a focus, because there are a bunch of figures that are currently walking up the path towards this chapel. And even though the figures, again, this is sort of like stylized watercolor. It's mostly just dabs of color here. But even with the dabs of color that differentiate these figures from the rest of the painting, something is niggling at you about that. Because what you see is a family of four. There is a man and a woman, clearly, that are holding hands. They are not quite at the very bottom of the painting, but they're quite close to the bottom of the painting, just on the start of the path towards the top of this hill. So they're sort of still at the bottom. And you can see that the man that's depicted in this painting has a circular pointed hat, and he has a rather heavy coat on, depicted in the painting. You see that the woman in the painting is wearing sort of yellow pants and a black fascinator hat with a scarlet jacket. And you see that there are two children in the painting that both have blue overalls on. And this seems remarkably familiar because those details were described to you by the family friend that you saw at their house.
Hey, Lynx.
Yes.
Ashley, quick, over here.
What you looking at?
Squint and look at this water. Here. No, not there. Here.
And tilts head.
So the painting is here on this wall.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my. That's them, isn't it?
I touch the paint.
You touch the painting. Okay. So I have something for you.
Uh-oh. No touchy.
The real truth behind the don't touch paintings. You get sucked into them. It's not
Right.
ruin. It's not because they'll ruin anything.
All right. So Lorenzo, let's have a quick look at you. So 2, no extra. Perfect. 2.
Ooh.
All right. So as you touch the painting, it touches back.
It, like holds hands, like hi.
Oh no, it grabs onto you. That is a success. With a threat, I will have the threat represented here. All right, and yeah, so what is your soak, please?
Uh-oh.
My soak is 4.
Okay, so you do not take any damage. However, you are ensnared by it. It has grabbed onto your hand. So the other two who are also sort of squinting and looking at it will see. So all of you will see that the paint has actually come out of the painting and is starting to, and it's sort of like wrapped around Lorenzo's hand and is starting to like matrix its way up his arm, right? Like,
What's
What
going on?
did he
so
do?
you can roll initiative. Yay!
I'm assuming cool
Yeah.
or discipline.
Isn't there an initiative?
Yeah. So there. Well, you do have to decide which one it is. Um.
I can't remember which one's prepared or not. I
Yep. Yep.
think.
Yep.
Cool is prepared.
Okay.
Vigilance is
Yeah.
Yeah, this vigilance.
This is
more often.
vigilance. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully I have good. I do not. Oh well.
All right. Cool. Oh. Gee.
Wow.
Okay. It looks like it's going first. Yikes.
Mhm.
Wow.
So we have Lynx. I need Lorenzo and Ashley.
Thought I rolled one.
Okay.
That's a very good check.
Yep. Not enough though.
Hmm.
Where is the thing?
On your sheet, let's have a look.
Constantly.
It is. I'm just having a look. We've got weapons, talents, and powers.
I was like,
And then
it's
you the
cool,
initiative.
right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Or vigilance.
Vigilance.
Yeah.
There you
Okay.
go. Huh.
Interesting. So you got blank. All right. So it goes painting, Lorenzo, Lynx, Ashley. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So its reaction to you touching it was to grab hold of you, Lorenzo. Now, Lorenzo is from where exactly?
I'm from Thornport. I'm from got the name of the district. One sec.
Oh, it was Southport.
It was Southport. Yeah,
Ah,
from Southport.
yep. Cool. Excellent. All right. Okay. So it is going to. Where are we? Make sure that my dice are all set here. It is. Very good. It is going to try and paint splatter. So the paint will again sort of flick out from the painting. Ooh, that did not do what it was meant to do.
It's weird.
Eh? Okay. Why?
Do we actually have our weapons?
I mean, they're not out right now,
Okay.
but yes, you would have them. Okay, so that is not going to work. So I'm just going to have to roll a normal skill check for it. Apologies. Ranged, so we're just going to do that. It also got blank due to your defense. So you've sort of one hand is being sort of slowly grabbed, and the paint is actually coursing its way up your arm, Lorenzo, and so you've put the other hand down to try and like stop it, and also covering your eyes. And as the paint sort of splatters towards you, your hand is raised in just the right position, that you don't sort of get it in your eyes, and it doesn't sort of affect you in a negative way. But you can see that it is clearly um, aggressive. Uh, Not sure why. It's a painting.
Be aggressive. Be aggressive.
It is your
Be
turn.
aggressive.
I think I have to spend it either to take out my weapon as a movement, and then the as a minor action, whatever that's called, and then my standard action I am try to pull away because I don't think I can attack with because I have one hand.
Yeah. So we will quickly see. So um, restricts movement. You are immobilized for 2 rounds.
Okay.
As far as
That
being
one.
able to move away from it. But you may make an athletics check. This says it is 3, so I can set that difficulty for you to try and wrest your grip free.
Please do.
All
So
right.
otherwise I can't attack.
Yeah, yep. All right. So game master side, we will set it at 3. And you are able to make that check. Nice.
Just barely.
Yeah, no, you make it. So absolutely, you wrest yourself free. How do you do that?
So Lorenzo has experience of someone like dying while he was trying to pick them up, and because of how they were dying, probably from burning or from other form of agony, like the clenching on his arm, and he was pulling him down. Memories of that from the battlefield probably kick in, and he would take his sandal, like the edge, and put it just on the tip of where the painting would be toward the frame. Kick it a brief second. Obviously, it's a creature, so it's not going to fall off the wall. And then he yanks back and just barely catches himself leaning against his halberd, which he is propped opposite of him. So his halberd and him are kind of forming a TP shape or a mountain shape, an upside down V.
Yeah.
And he catches himself just on the side of his polearm, probably snipping some of his hair with the blade.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay. All right, so you do manage to do that. So the athletics check is your action. You've gotten your weapon with your interact. So if you, I believe it would be another maneuver, would be a second maneuver, which would give you 2 strain if you decide to move away.
I'm not going to move away. I'm going to use 2 strain, though, and spend my advantage, I guess, to reduce it to heal strain. I don't know if I can in that order. I'll just take 2 strain, and then I think it's defense. Go defensive, go parry. It's the...
Yeah, you
it
add
just gives me
a black. Yep.
Yep.
Sweet.
Oh, you're right. That's
All right, so Lynx, you see Lorenzo break himself free from the clinging grasp of this painting, and you can now act. What would you like to do?
Wow, what in the world? So, I think Lynx is just she's gonna pull her knife out and she's gonna hop backwards. Like literally hop backwards, try to. And just, like Lorenzo, she's just gonna go on the defensive to see, now that he's released from it, what's it gonna do?
Yeah. And where are you from?
Where am I from?
Yeah. Let's have a look. It was. It's always one of those questions, isn't it? You are from Throneport. Okay. It looks like all of you are actually from Throneport. I have too many groups, so I forget where people are from. So all of you are from Throneport, just different areas of Throneport. Okay.
Right.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, you're sort of, so you've got your weapon, you step back defensively, and you're sort of trying to assess the situation.
Right.
All right, Ashley.
Yeah, kind of. I think Ashley would be more surprised stepping back. It's just like, oh God, what the? And then, oh yeah, we this might be something to pull out the knife for and slice at whatever is. Oh nope, the one's just fine. And I could see Ashley jump back, like then reflexively like reaching forward to grab Lorenzo's shoulder to like help. Just like, let's back away from that. That does not seem like a very interactive kind of exhibit.
Certainly a surprise. So yeah, you're stepping back as well. So it is its turn. So it will try and flick out paint again towards Lorenzo, who touched it. Okay, and it's going to be a ranged light. This
Oh,
time
boy.
it does succeed. Okay, so what this does...
You had the setback?
I did not add the setback. So we will clear.
Sorry.
No,
I should have.
no, you're good. You're good. One setback. Okay, hang on. So yeah, it's just one success.
Okay.
So just a single success, but it is still a success. So paint splatter. Doesn't do any damage to you again because you are resilient enough to stave off the harmful effects. However, it does have the splatter. Paint in the eye. So it is going to disorient you. So you will gain a black die to try to do anything, any action on your turn. As
Yep.
you know, got a bit of paint in the eye. And
Yep.
it's more a nuisance than harm than it actually hurting. But you do realize that it has the potential to hurt you. That's the way it spends its action. Now, yeah. Other than that, you don't really. Yeah, it still just seems to be lashing out as far as what you can tell right now. But you could potentially learn more about that if you like. It is your turn again.
It's Ashley's turn, I thought.
Yeah, Ashley stepped back and
Oh, that's right. Okay, sorry.
just sort of waited to see what was actually going to happen.
I tried to grab your shoulder and pull you back, but
Help is appreciated, and he is gonna stab him. He's gonna stab a painting
All right.
with his axe.
No, Enzo. I don't know if we can afford it.
I mean, it's attacking him. Why wouldn't he?
It's an interactive piece that we don't understand for how we.
Sorry, I don't get action.
Oh my gosh!
All right. So it doesn't have any defense, so I'm gonna set your dice at normal. Average 2 is
Well, don't I get one setback from the disorientation?
and a disoriented. Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, where's my weapon? I was debating if I should spend a story point. I'll just.
Ooh, no. All right. So with those 2 threats,
Rude.
I am not going to have you take strain.
I'm gonna give it a boon against me. A boost.
Yeah. Okay. So a few things. Let's see. Only is 2 threats. So, you will see that that a gloss kind of comes over, a sheen comes over the surface of the painting, almost like it's been coated in something, and it seems to be a bit more defensive towards your stabbing knife attacks. It's gained effectively a defense against you too. So I will clear that out. So that is your action.
My maneuver is I go defensive again.
Yep, perfect. Alright, so Lynx, you see that this painting is still doing things, yeah.
Yeah.
But it seems like like no one's getting physically hurt. It's just sort of annoying, and it is kind of startling.
So Lynx digs in her bag for a blanket that she carries for her passengers for the rickshaw.
Yeah.
And pulls it out. Ashley, take a corner. and in 3. So you want like an athletic check. So what I'm indicating is that we're gonna try to cover the painting with this.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right, so I will give it a average.
And
yeah,
we didn't set story points. Can we?
You can spend one.
Can we spend one for an advantage because 2 of us are working on it, or?
Yeah, you can spend one.
Upgrade it down.
I will upgrade it. Yeah.
Sweet. And then are we thinking athletics or?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's athletics. And then, so what I will do, so Ashley, are you happy to contribute to what's going on? To this attempt to cover the painting?
Yeah.
Yeah? Alright, I will add a boost from Ashley.
Nice.
And yeah,
okay.
You can make that check.
Great.
Oh!
So we try to throw that blanket up there, but we get caught up in Lorenzo, who's between us.
Yeah. So you sort of throw it a little bit over Lorenzo, who's momentarily blinded, just for a second, not even until the start of the next turn, but he's just like, oh, what? But you do have an advantage there. So what would you like to do with that? Not really much you can do with a single one. You can pass a blue to the next person to act, which would be Ashley, who has.
Let's pass the blue.
Yeah, Ashley, I'm gonna say that because of the sequence of events, you've already used a maneuver to do that aiding, boosting action for Lynx that hasn't worked, but it is your turn now.
That's fine.
So yeah, you've used a maneuver.
If I'm getting the advantage, potentially what my brain's thinking is that if Ashley's still holding on to, or no, we tossed it. So, like takes a few steps forward to grab like the tail end to try and flip it up.
The carpet thing, the
and we kind of stumbled slash Lorenzo being there in front of us, and so my thought for that, they kind of quickly step forward to try and like grab the bottom of the carpet blanket thing to try and give it another like toss at the painting.
All right, so you'll give it another try.
What was the check for that again? The athletics.
Yeah.
This might be laughable.
Nice.
And yes.
Woo!
Alright, so you will take 1 point of strain as you push yourself to grab a hold of this and lift it over. However, you do manage to wreath the painting in this covering, and the whole face of it is covered, and you see that
Right. I think I'm gonna go talk with the front desk person to see what this interactive art is all about. And also, like, do you guys see any like tutorial instructions here? Like, is there like a little plaque describing?
Alright, so as you start to like move off, you'll notice something. Lynx, what color is that blanket?
It is a yellow
Yeah.
and black blanket.
Okay.
Oh,
Like taxi yellow, right?
Horrible. Yeah.
Black, striping on it on the ends and fringe.
Okay. All right. So you will see that the color of the blanket begins to shift, and you will see that the taxi yellow and the black are being replaced by watercolors. Watercolors that look strangely familiar to the painting itself as it gets sucked in.
It's absorbing it. No.
some kind of Mary Poppins bullshit. Yeah. If there's any movement left for Ashley,
Yeah,
like-
you can take 2 strain to move away.
whoa.
Yeah. You're like, nope.
I'll go check with the front desk because I don't see anything about what the interactiveness of this is, and that's freaking me out.
All right. Fair enough. So yeah, it spends its action absorbing this this rug until it is no more.
Oh.
So you've lost that particular piece of equipment.
My blanket.
This blanket, yeah. I've had that since.
That was my first blanket when I was inducted into the Guild of Rickshaw.
All right. So Lorenzo, as you see this all happening, you happen to glance at the painting, and you see that the painting has very slightly changed. You see that some of the figures, all of the figures in fact, of the people depicted in the painting are further up the path than they were a moment ago. Not very far, but just a step or two. And there has appeared in the painting a black and yellow rug.
Henry.
I hope you enjoyed my blanket.
Settles it. I'm slicing the painting.
If you like. I mean, how you're reacting to this is how you think your characters would. I would say that there is a chance here, potentially, that one of you may think of trying to figure out why it's doing what it's doing, but if you don't think your character would do that, and if you think you would just react in this way, that is totally okay. And by the way, because this is Genesis, and it is the way it is, you can also swap your actions about if you want to each round. So if you want someone else to go first, you can. Otherwise, it is up to you. I already did that, so I will just switch it back. So.
I'm I know why. It's because I didn't sync it. There we go. That might help. Thanks.
I've just reset it to where it should be.
Cool.
So it is your turn, Lorenzo.
Lorenzo is smart only in very specific situations.
Yeah.
But Lorenzo is gonna try to slice this painting.
Oh, okay. No, that's good. I like it.
Yeah. All right. So I will attack, I guess.
Yeah. So you should be all set. The disorientation is gone. Oh my goodness. But even though the disorientation is gone, Lorenzo is having an awful time. Maybe he's just like, I don't know, second guessing himself. This painting just absorbed a rug.
Something
And
about this painting.
Deep down inside, he's worried about having to replace the painting.
maybe it does look like it's worth something. So you will take a point of strain here, as you strain yourself, trying to land anything.
Up to 3 strain. Got it. I will go defensive as my maneuver.
All right, Lynx. You see Ashley making a run for the receptionist. You see Lorenzo trying to slash it. What do you think that Lynx would do in this situation?
Oh boy. Wait, why are you trying to slash it? I think she would just talk to Lorenzo at this point.
Yeah.
She's gonna stay on the defensive, but like, why are you trying to slash it? I don't think you can see with our positioning what was going on in the picture. So.
I mean, it grabbed my arm. You feed it something, I guess. See if it stops.
We might. I don't know if coming to the museum and destroying a painting is a good idea, though. Maybe we should avoid that if we can.
I'm just trying to make sure it doesn't destroy us. You figure it out.
I can't believe is it magic? It's weird. How can it eat my blanket?
Lynx, you'll notice the same thing that Lorenzo did in the people in the painting. So it's got a date on this painting, right? It's dated, and it actually has an artist. Like, the artist is written on it. Everything's written on it, right? However, the people in the painting have moved since you got here, and your rug is in there.
Is now with them.
You can see it. You can see it on the road in the painting.
Where are you people going? Stop!
It seems awfully strange that a painting that has already been made is actually moving. It's changing.
Is the date Saturday? Can I?
Oh no! It's quite some time ago.
How could they be? Lorenzo, how can they be moving? She's dumb.
Sounds flabbergasted by this.
Yeah. This is.
Alright, so what I can tell you, let's see.
It's our family.
I'm just looking at this 1 second. That's that. There it is. Just trying to find... Ah, yes. So the painter that is on the plaque, and I will post this here. Lorenzo tries to touch the painting, and it grabs him. The painting is dated, and the artist is a Rove. So you could do a check on the artist. The date is, it's dated, let's do 743 YK. So this is about 150 years old, this painting.
Now she's even more. She's even more flabbergasted. Like, how could people who were just here Saturday be in the painting and walking in it?
Yeah. So, do you have any sort of idea about, like, do you think that this just floors Lynx to the point where she's inoperable, or do you think that she's gonna try and figure it out and make sense of it, or where do you think she's at?
I think she's gonna try to figure it out and make sense of it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So in that case, this will be, I think, a knowledge.
Okay.
Second. Let's have a look at skills. Where are we? Skills. Yeah, I think just knowledge would be sufficient here. I will set the difficulty here. So there you go. You're not from Thrain. I'm going to give you a setback because you're not from Thrain. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, you succeeded. Just. You're scraping by. Yeah, so you're trying to figure this thing out. You've never heard of a painting up till now that has like reached out, that has changed as you were looking at it. This just doesn't happen, right? But Eberron is a magical place after all, and I guess many things are possible. And you remember, you've seen a bit here in the museum, and you are remembering that one of the exhibits that you were looking at just a few minutes ago, at the time it didn't really seem important to you. You were just reading about Thranish culture and stuff. But as you're looking at this and trying to assess it and figure it out, your mind brings it back. Your mind brings back what you've just read a few minutes ago. You were reading it over here. And what it said was part of Thranish culture. Part of Thranish culture involves spirits known as kami. And kami are often protective spirits who can reside in both elemental things like fire and nature, but also can, especially in Thranish culture, reside in things that have been created by members of the culture. And here is a painting, and it seems to you, remembering what it said about that possibly there's a protective kami spirit residing in this Thranish painting. And you've just seen Lorenzo touch it. Now, he wasn't wasn't trying to harm it, but maybe it's just had a negative reaction to that. Like, well, you don't know much yourself about protective kami spirits, but you did read protective kami spirit, but this kami spirit has lashed out, so maybe it's lashed out protectively.
Right. Maybe so it's protecting them, but then so she's grasping the concept, but what she's puzzled over now is, are they in the painting? Are they in the painting? And it's protecting them because it thinks we're going to hurt them. And maybe it's good if somebody's trying to hurt them, maybe it's good that they're in the painting.
Mm.
Or is it showing us where they are? Like, so she's like, okay, Lorenzo, I think it's protecting them. Like, I'm sure that's our family, aren't you?
Are you sure it's not eating them?
Well, it seems to be stopping us from getting to them. So, I mean, maybe someone's after them and it's protecting them because it thinks we want to hurt them. Or maybe it wants something from them and it's still protecting them from us getting to it.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's protecting some other secret and they're just coincidental, but
Maybe it's
that's
this.
our family. They're walking away.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's enough for your turn, I think. As you try and figure this out and speak it out as you're doing that. And Ashley's gone to try and get some help. So
We get some help back here. You have interactive piece.
all right. So yeah. So you find the receptionist, Elias. Yeah, of course.
Hi. You're
Oh, hello. You have finished your tour?
quite. We ran into one of your interactive pieces that it doesn't really have any instructions on how to interact with the art. It just kind of keeps grabbing at us.
What is this that you say? It is interactive.
Yes.
We do not have interactive things.
You better come because my friends are about to destroy your art, and I don't want to do that. So
Oh,
please come on.
Zutuloi, we cannot have this. No. So he will come up around and accompany you back. No, they cannot. This is precious art. It cannot. You should not destroy.
Yes, I agree. Come on.
So yeah,
Leads the way.
lead the way over. Hey, you! Stop that!
Are you guys still there? Is the painting destroyed? What does Ashley see?
You can see Lynx, still talking to Lorenzo and to you, and she's like calling out. She's like, but they're in there and they seem to be okay, and maybe it's protecting them. And she's like spouting out all these things that could possibly happen and be happening.
Protecting what? The painting? I brought back. See, look. Okay. Lorenzo, can you do that thing to show how the painting or hang on. And actually, Ashley will pull out like a scarf and go and try and carefully go up to the painting, be like, okay, now just watch, and we'll just try and quickly drape the scarf across the painting.
Yeah.
And then, jump back real quick. But, okay, now just watch.
All right, I watch. And the scarf will start to be absorbed into it. He goes, "Oh, what is this?" and he will sort of approach it and he'll say, "What are you doing painting? Why do you do this?" um, so it's the painting's turn, I guess. And as this Thranish man approaches the painting, you see it stop absorbing the scarf, and the surface on the painting starts to like smooth out, and a single section of the painting sort of reaches out and puts its hand, like makes a hand with the paint, and puts the hand not in a grasping fashion, but puts it facing up so that the palm is facing towards the ceiling.
What?
And like as he's like approaching it, and he's like, "Oh, it is making a hand, and the
I
hand,
don't recommend tipping.
but it is not grabbing me."
It wants a tip.
Oh, I
wouldn't recommend it.
do not have the money for that, but it does not seem to be harmful. But what is happening? I do not understand. Lorenzo.
You're the owner of the gallery, so
I is not. I just work here.
this is to the owner of the gallery. Or have a getting them contacting them quickly, like within minutes.
He says, "Oh, well, that will not be possible. I can put it in the record, in the book, and they will see it at the end of the day. But that is... I do not know how to contact them."
I guess Lorenzo will just try to use knowledge to see, because we still got to figure out a way to get the thing to spit it out. He's still in a defensive posture with his weapon.
Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I will give you a boost because you have a Thranish citizen here, but you still have a setback for not being a Thranish citizen yourself. Nice. Very nice. So you succeed at this knowledge. So what specifically did you ask?
An idea to wrestle the painting, to get them out of the painting, or get the painting to throw them up. In his mind, it's a creature that ate them.
Alright. With this knowledge roll, you also remember seeing the piece of literature that I was talking to Lynx about there being protective spirits. And for whatever reason, Lorenzo's mind is changed. And while he's still maybe a little bit nervous, I think this knowledge check informs it a little bit. And you remember seeing that if a kami spirit is protecting somebody, and there is someone from Thrain, in this case, that all you would need to do is effectively let it do what it's trying to do, absorb you, and you would be transported to the world of the painting, and that you would be able to interact with the people inside the painting and potentially release them that way. Though that sounds kind of scary still.
It's the best idea that came up, so I will plunge straight into the painting.
Yeah, so you would approach the painting and you would put your hand on it and you would see that it grabs onto you and it starts to absorb you and you would just let it happen, yeah?
Yep.
Alright, you let it happen. And the man, he will watch and he will say, "Oh, this is very interesting." He would do the same thing. "I has to see this to believe it." Alright, so Ashley and Lynx, you would see that Lorenzo is starting to, and the receptionist.
She's like, okay, one of us needs to stay out here, because what if there isn't a way out, and someone's gonna need to tell someone, the upper people, about I don't know where to go in there.
Well, you could stop the man and you could say, "Hey, your job is to look out."
Ready. Yeah, if he's going, I can see. It's like, whoa! You have a business to run here. You especially need to stay on this side, and yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't think your boss would like it very much if you just abandon your post to go.
All right,
Browsing
so
around.
I need you to make some sort of diplomacy persuasion roll.
Sure.
So let's see.
Is there a way to assist in that since we're ganging up on him?
You can add a boost if Lynx is aiding.
Let's see.
I'm okay with it.
I
I think
I'm
that
not seeing diplomacy. Or
it is called
Look at your social skills. There's
perception.
charm, coercion, deception,
Charm.
leadership,
Yeah.
negotiation.
Yeah, charm if you're trying to persuade.
There we go. Oh, I actually got some good stuff in there.
Nice.
Very good.
Well done.
Oh, yes, you are correct. Well, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, but you can tell me what happened. And I will go and
If we survive this, maybe you can actually experience it for yourself when we figure out how to get back.
all right then. I will be waiting. And
All
he
right.
will step away from the painting.
Awesome. Then Ashley to Lynx will lean right up to her ear and just go, okay, you go first.
All right. Here we go. And we get to change places.
I'll keep my eyes closed. Good.
This reminds me of Mary Poppins.
Oh yeah. So if Lynx goes through, is Ashley able to see her give a thumbs up in the painting?
It'll take a while. But yeah,
Just
because
waiting,
the time of the painting is slowed down quite a lot compared to ours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, you can wait for it and you'll see that and you can go in. So hopefully, we should now be on a new map. Right. And so you find yourself on a path, a winding path with lots of trees. You know that the rest of the people are up this road further, like so here or here or here, up the road. And that there is a hill and a chapel that you know from the painting is like this way, like up there. So, follow the path is the quickest way. And yeah, you can make your way around there. Because we are somewhere else, you're effectively in its time. So there's none of this slowing down, speeding up business. You experience it as if it is real time. You just know that in the outside world, in the real world, you are moving a lot slower than you feel like you're moving. Um,
Uh,
Whoa.
were you able to see the gallery?
no.
Okay. That sucks. Don't even really have a direction of which we can aim to get out of here.
Lynx is gonna put a rock or a symbol in the path
Yeah.
where she landed, where we where we were when we arrived.
Okay.
We need to make sure we come back to here. Or maybe a little cairn on the side or something, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. And so you will follow the path that leads to the chapel?
There is only one way for it, as far as I
Follow
see.
the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow
The way
I'll follow the
matters.
the yellow brick road. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. Whoa, where's everybody? I came to a fork.
Yeah.
I found a fork.
I feel like I'm playing a board game now. So
Yeah, so yeah, you get to a fork and you know that the painting focuses on the chapel, which is at the top of the hill over here.
Looks like we're going up.
You see that from this vantage point, you see that the last of the visitors, last of the figures are entering the chapel at this point, and you are only a short way behind.
going to and where
Eric. What do you think?
something.
What do you say to that, Lorenzo?
Yeah, because he's been lucky in love. For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't necessarily have to be for love.
You know, I've
Love
been
could be for,
with this before.
this.
Not this painting, no, not with the painting, a painter.
Alright. So, ascending the winding path, you will see the chapel that was pictured in the painting, and you'll see that the doors are now open. It is a stone chapel, it's fairly small, and you see as you enter that there are a bunch of people seated on the pews. There is a carpet that leads all the way to the altar at the far end, and you'll see that above the altar is a bell tower. And you see a bell up there. You see also two statues with braziers on either side of the altar that are burning with sort of like a holy fire, and you see incense on the entrance sides that also has holy water for you if you would like that. Seeing this site, you also at the very back where this altar is, there's like a mural on the floor, and it's in like a hexagonal pattern, this mural, and you see that there's all of these beautiful colors that coalesce as you watch, and floating above the altar and above this hexagonal pattern is this marvelous figure. At first, you think that it is a tapestry. And as you look at it, the tapestry is of a figure, but the figure in the tapestry is moving. And the figure in the tapestry is a cleric of some description. The tapestry itself is many different ribbons of cloth that are all like flowing, and the whole tapestry is spinning very, very slowly, sort of counterclockwise. And as the tapestry spins, light emanates from the center of it, and shines into the room. And the center of it is the center of the figure. And the figure is like a man, but a tapestry, a cleric, but a tapestry. There's very ornate robes.
Yeah, a tapestry.
Yeah.
I feel like you might look at the others and be like, oh goodness, I feel like this is gonna be like one of those dreams in a dreams.
So it says, born from large pieces of cloth, this strange creature flutters in the air, catching the last rays of the setting sun. Yeah, and so this being, I guess, starts to speak to its congregation. It welcomes them to the chapel. It asks them to bow their heads in prayer. And it begins, intoning this prayer. And we'll see you enter. We'll gesture towards the pews, and as if to say that you are welcome to take a seat. As they begin to speak.
She just kind of just leans up against the wall by the door.
Alright, you're just sort of staying back, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking it in from a distance.
Ripped weapon back to wall.
Okay. You will see that both the husband and the wife and the two children that you are looking for, at least people that match their description, are amongst the congregation.
Nudges Enzo, kind of nods in their direction.
Well, I guess we need to go and talk to them, see if they're willing to try to get out.
Indeed.
Lynx is gonna sit. She's gonna go ahead and take a pew. Maybe like right behind them.
Yeah.
She's just gonna quietly sit and eavesdrop if there's anything to eavesdrop on, but she's just gonna quietly sit and kind of, be respectful of the whatever's, religion this is.
Okay. Alright, so yeah, you sort of take in the scene. Lynx approaching a little bit closer to the family, you see that they seem quite contented. There's not any worry or concern on their faces. You've never been in this place, nor have you seen their rituals, and this is kind of an homage to every time you visit a church and you just have no idea when you should sit down, no idea when you should stand up. And it's sort of like that moment when yeah, you're just not sure like what the process is. And so when they like stand up to sing a hymn, you're a couple of seconds too late and you feel a little bit awkward. And when they've finished the hymn and they sit down, or they go to sit down, but they don't sit down, and then you sit down, and then you're like, oh, but they're still standing, and then you have to stand back up again, and then they say something, and then they sit down, and then you're a second too late to sit down, right? Like it's all of that, the strange, like not quite feeling like you belong, feeling, and certainly that you don't know what their traditions are, but all of them go through the process as if they've done this hundreds of times, like as if they've done this their whole life. And you haven't, so you feel a little bit out of place. They do sing a hymn, um, and one of them will hand you, a piece of paper with the words on it, and you will look at the words, um, and you can read them. You can read the words. Some of them you don't understand. It's kind of like the Eberron version of having Latin, in some of it, but some of it you'll get a picture of, and it will say, praise and amen and those sorts of things, in hallelujah, those sorts of words, that you will recognize, and then there's words that you don't recognize, that are obviously sort of more ritualistic language that are being spoken. One thing's for certain, though, that all of you recognize: this isn't a Church of the Silver Flame. These aren't Silver Flame rituals. And whether, you've at least all been in a Silver Flame church or shrine, at the very least, and you've seen how they do things. This is not it. This is not the Silver Flame. And yeah, this figure clearly is very odd, being a tapestry, but speaks with a commanding presence, gentle, understanding, and then he says, or they say, "It is now time for confession." And you will see that the congregation prepares themselves, and you will see that, let's see, where are we? We're over here. The woman, the wife of the family that you have come here to find, stands. She stands alone, and she says, "This is my confession. I saw that my family was in financial trouble, and this has been the case for some time. And I saw that it was out of control. So I sought for a way to solve this problem. And I went and visited Edwardo Montelbaun, the Director of Social Affairs at the Wayfinder Society. And long story short, I'm sorry to say that I cheated on my husband with Edwardo Montelbaun in order to secure our family a little extra time with our debts. And then she sits down. Juan, her husband, nods imperceptibly. Almost goes to stand up. But before he does, one of the children stands. It is... let's see. It is Daniela. And Daniela says, "This is my confession. I was playing with Thomas, and it had been such a long time since we'd had a sweet, and Thomas, he got hurt, not all that badly, but he would not stop crying. And so I went to Dad, and I tugged at his coat, and I pleaded with Daddy if we could get a sweet so that Thomas could stop crying and be happy again. And Daddy knelt down and he said that he didn't have the money for a sweet. But Thomas wouldn't stop crying, and I pleaded and I pleaded. And eventually Daddy said that he would get us a sweet. And because he did, he had to be more in debt. And I didn't realize that. And now I do. And now we have no money. And she sits down. And Thomas immediately stands up and he says, he almost breaks the format. He says, "Oh, and I was, oh, sorry, this is my confession." He says, I was too upset. I wasn't really that hurt, it was just a graze on my knee. And if I hadn't have been upset, maybe Daniela wouldn't have pleaded with Daddy so much, and maybe then Daddy wouldn't be in so much debt, and maybe we would still have money. And then he sits down. And finally, Juan, after his children have stood, you can see a level of sort of shame, guilt on his face as he stands. He looks up at the figure and he says, "This is my confession." He says, "Long have we had money problems, and they all originated in my bad behavior. When I was younger, I got into a gambling debt with Edwardo Montelbaun. In fact, it was Edwardo who agreed to get me out so that we wouldn't be harmed. He paid the debt, and then I was indebted to him. And then I was indebted to him again and again. And the money rose and rose, and I have been unable to keep up with it. I have paid whatever I could, but the debt is still there, and the debt is my fault. And if I had not have gotten in debt in the first place, none of this would have happened. That is my confession." And he sits down. The figure takes a few more confessions around, and then he looks at Lynx. as if to say, your turn. Lynx?
Kevin had to unmute. Lynx stands and says, "This is my confession. My mom went to find my family. She went to find my dad and my brothers. And I didn't go to help her. And maybe if I'd gone along to help, we would have found them. It's my fault that nobody came back. I wanted everything, and Mom couldn't give it to me. And she left. And I didn't do my part. And I didn't deserve for my family to come back." And she sits down.
The figure nods and looks over at Ashley, as if to say, your turn.
Ashley will kind of just have this, like, points at themselves and looks around. Like, no, sorry, I'm not a part of this.
The figure doesn't look away from you. There's a pregnant pause in the air.
Looks around to see, like, if there's anyone else. Like, there's Enzo, but it's like, is there any other people in the congregation?
He will look at Lorenzo then. But it seems to you like this grace of leaving you for a moment is temporary. Lorenzo?
I have a quick question. Are you going to let these people go?
He says this is a place of protection, not of capture.
So they can leave whenever they want?
Yes.
Roger. Everyone knows I've gone drinking and whoring. That is my confession.
I have gone drinking and whoring. Okay. Lovely.
For the better part of, how long since I left the army? 2.5 years now.
Okay. Excellent. And the figure's face turns back to Ashley, raises an eyebrow.
Okay, fine. If I'm honest, I might have stolen a scarf or two, and like, come on. Being poor, like, is that really a sin?
All right. And
You have to do what you have to do.
There is no judgment in the eyes or in the manner of this being, as he imperceptibly nods. And he says, "You do not belong here. I acted out of protection. This family who you see before you is in danger. I know whence you come, and I do not belong there. This is my place. He says, but I will not keep them here if you can guarantee their protection. They are hunted. They are pursued by this man who has been named Edwardo Montelbaun. He does not wish for good things. He only wishes to harm them. When they appeared before my painting, I felt their distress. I felt their need, and I felt the evil that pursues them. And so, I reached out, my wings, like the wings of a mother hen, and enfolded them into myself, into my painting, so that they may be safe. You come from their world. You know of it. You are more than they in your abilities. And if you desire, if you promise to keep them safe, then they may leave. For now they are safe, but they are not home. This is as home as it can be for now, but I acknowledge that they do not belong here, just as you do not. And I would wish them to be back where they belong, if it is safe. What say you?
I mean, not as well. Like, I'm curious though about this personal
So you're saying we can leave them here, take care of this Eduardo guy, and then you'll let them go.
They are free to go. I just hesitate because the evil that pursues them is so strong.
Why is it just them? I'm curious. Like, if there's an evil, is there others infected by effect
I do not know, says
by
the
their
figure.
presence?
I do not know the extent of the evil. I just know that its presence hunts them.
And Ashley just nods.
And Ashley, so it sounds like we just leave them here. We go ask about this Eduardo guy, find them.
It seems best, especially since it's the very society that sent us looking for them. We don't know. We don't know who else is looking. We don't know if he's. We don't know how if anyone's aware that he has ulterior motives. We don't know much about the society in general. They're probably best safe until. I think you're right, Lorenzo.
It sounds like he just wants to own everything that they own and get a side piece, as we found out.
And I look at the family like, okay, so you have some debt, but that doesn't really explain why they're. This sounds much deeper than just a question of settling a debt. If what the father, she doesn't know what to call him, so she's just like, the father says he senses great evil, that doesn't seem equal to just having a debt. So do you know why else he might be after you?
The family do not know. They know that they have a debt. They know that it's quite substantial. They know that it is to him, and it's to him that the wife went to try and smooth things over with her body. But that hasn't seemed to work. The religious figure, he again doesn't know the full extent of Eduardo's evil. Just knows that he senses evil intent and harm upon the family. So, yeah, they do not know if there's anything more to this, but they do say that he is the director of social affairs at the Wayfinder Society, and maybe he's a bad person, maybe there's other things going on that they're not familiar with, but as far as they're aware, it's their debt. And until recent, they didn't even know when they came here. They didn't even know that he was pursuing them, and it was this religious figure that has given them that knowledge.
I'm a little concerned about the fact that the Wayfarer Society is so wrapped up in this museum, too. I don't know how long they're going to be safe here.
The figure says, even if my painting was destroyed, this world would remain.
I see. So I look at Ashley and Lorenzo again and just, that seems like the best plan to me. Unless somebody has a better plan, I think we should figure out what our story is and about what we did or didn't find and be on our way for now.
And it's not like we don't know someone who is also powerful.
True. Maybe he can help.
He'll point to the figure and he'll be, Rolf? Is that who you are?
He says, no. It is a rove that made my painting. He says, here we do not have names like your kind, but you may call me guardian, protector, guide. I do not. It is different here.
Okay, so if their lives are really in danger, I swear to you, on this halberd, that grip the hands of my friends and comrades in war, as they died and released their last breath, I will protect them.
I put my hands over his hands on his halberd.
Yeah.
I pledge the same.
And Ashley will step up and do some more gestures, like, same.
One of the ribbons from this great tapestry, it floats in the air and wraps around your fingers and around your hands and around the halberd, binding the promise, and then releases and floats back up to him, to them, the guardian, the protector, the guide. He says, "This I have heard, and this you will do. Thank you." And he bows, inclines his head. He says, "Whenever you wish, I will send you back whence you came. And you need to just come and see the painting again. If you cannot find it, you may take this." And again, one of the ribbons will float out, and he will hold it in his hand, and then he will gesture with his hand, and it will float off. He will breathe, and it will float off, and it will hang in the air before you. And he says, "One of you may take that. And when you grasp it in your hands, and when you think of this place and of the people herein, I will hear you. It may take some time."
I'll reach out and take the ribbon.
He will nod. He will say again, "Thank you." And you are free to go.
All right.
Oops.
And to keep them safe in the painting, or in this world, until they are safe. Yep. Okay. Awesome. I will turn this music off. Very cool. Thank you, guys. So we have about half an hour. You can head back to the museum and then back to either the family's home or back to the Wayfinder Society or back to Rontaltain. Where would your characters go and what interactions will you have there?
Do we have our story yet? Ashley will kind of whisper. Suppose we can at least give the one family at least something to say they are safe for now.
Right.
And
I'll tell them they're hiding out.
yeah.
Best not to know where.
It's about it.
Yep.
Okay.
And I have a sneaking suspicion that there is something on their farm that this man wants. We need to talk to the hands just to see if anything was found on the property recently.
That sounds good. And then should we talk to Rontaltain about this?
Of
I'm a
course.
little wary of sharing anything about it with the society because who knows
I mean,
who
rather
knows
than
in
talk,
league with him.
we can always just ask him who this person is.
Oh, that's a great
Or,
idea.
yes.
Yeah. Museum and came across this name.
Sounds like a long night to me.
Yes.
Well, we ain't gonna be checking off these things. We just keep standing here. And Ashley will proceed to lead towards the family. to inform them first.
Okay. All right. So yes, you will head back. Give that. So the only information that you're really giving the Wayfinder Society, just so that I'm 100%, is the family is safe and they're in hiding.
I thought that was for the. It sounded like
No, that was for the farmer.
That was for the farmer.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
The
Okay.
person we met when we were at their farm, and I suggested going to the farm first to ask him if there's anything found there recently.
Okay. So yep, you can head back to the farm, or to the house of the farmer. Okay. And you want to ask him if anything has been found on the farm recently?
Like
Yeah,
if there are
okay.
any notable changes about the property, like if anything was found, if plants have grown up there that didn't before, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. All right. He will say that it's very odd that you would ask this. Um, and it's very odd that my answer is yes. Some, in fact, we have had a plant growing for goodness knows how long, longer than I've been around, he says, that for the longest time was just a plant. Recently, it's we've had a lot of interest in it. And I brought this up to Juan, but he would not listen. But it seemed like there might be money in it.
What kind of plant?
I can show you.
Please do.
So he makes sure that the house is firmly locked up. And in his closer and closer to death every moment um, walk will very slowly take you down to the farm. Again, you can almost hear the man's bones creaking. He's that old. And yeah, he uses a walking stick. He's a very sort of pleasant demeanor for being as old as he is. Sometimes you can turn to being quite harsh in your older age, but this man seems just like a hard worker who's seen his best days far, far behind him. And he will lead you to the farm, and you'll see people still working the farm, which is good. Um, Even in the family's disappearance, although the number of people here is significantly not enough, like it's far diminished. Um, he will lead you um, down some embankments, and um, there's a rut, I guess, in the ground, and this plant it grows in this rut, and it seems like it's only growing in the rut, um, in the edges and in the recess. He will show that to you. The plant itself is it looks thorny. The thorns are clumps of thorns. So there's a few quite small thorns along the stems, but there are also clumps of thorns in like almost circles or just circle-like clumps almost like a knot of wood, but on a plant, and green. And they flower in white, and the flowers um, almost cover the thorns. But you would think that if you pushed your hand into the flower, that you would immediately be um, caught with the thorns. Now it is coming to the end of winter, so these aren't in bloom. Well, some of them are starting, um, but so you'll see one or two uh, little white blooms coming through those bulbs in the plants, and they stand about 2.5 feet tall, I guess. Anywhere between 1 foot and 2.5 feet, so that sort of height. And they're it seems like a fairly substantial stem on most of them. That again bristles with these tiny little thorns, but most of the thorns are in the clumps.
Hmm.
What is so special about these plants?
He shrugs and he says, "They're weeds. We've never had use of them. We've tried cooking them, smoking them. It is foul." There's this awful milk that comes out of those bulbs, he says. It is white, horrible. I do not know
But
what
he was
use it would
convinced.
have.
He was convinced this had money in it.
Well, people offered money, but one, he would not hear of it.
I see.
I do not
May I
know
take
who
it?
it was. I think, and he tries to think, he says, I am sure that I wrote it in our book back at the house. I am sure I wrote it there. And
I'm sure I. Wait. Sorry.
yeah, if you followed that lead after this, you would find that the name is Eduardo Montelbaun.
Gotcha. I politely asked to take one of the weeds.
He says, yes, it is no use to us."
Thank you.
So yeah,
Okay.
how do you want to do that? Do you have gloves or anything?
I turned to Ashley. Can I borrow one of your acquired scarves?
Yeah, yeah. Ashley will dig in for one that they're okay to part with. By the way, before we left the painting, would Jinx and Ashley been able to have grabbed their items? The blanket and the scarf?
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's Lynx, not Jinx.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Yeah, so yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, you have all your items. In fact, you will get some item rewards too at the end of the session as well. So um,
Sweet.
Oh, he'll wrap it around in his arm, take the edge of his halberd and cut the weed off, and then rip it through the
all
knot.
right, can I get you to make me a survival check, please? I need to set the DC. It is going to be 2 setbacks, but average.
Hey,
And you should be free to go.
Survival. Nope, not very good at that. Here we go.
Oof.
Oh,
Didn't think so.
All right. Well, you have 2 advantages.
I'll recover a stray.
Yeah. So you manage it, but you're gonna get quite a few very painful cuts. Um, and in fact, you are going to take some damage. And it's a matter of like you didn't realize just how thick these stalks were. And so you sort of start tackling it, and you're just not really getting anywhere, and then you have more of a go and more of a go. It takes you quite some time because of the failure. You are going to take 5 points of
Ooh.
damage.
What happened off?
I'm seeing myself bleed like profusely. Hey, Lynx, do you think you can manage this up?
And what you will note as well as you bleed is that it just like it seems to like bleed through, right? Like it, like that. It it's almost like you've hit a vein, like because when you hit a vein, the blood just keeps on coming, right? Just like for a while. It's like that, but it hasn't hit a vein, and it is there a medicine? Yes, you can make a medicine check, or any of you can make a medicine check, and I am going to change the difficulty to just average. There we
Hey,
go.
Lynx.
okay.
Hey, Lynx.
Yeah, let me take a look. I'll give it a try.
Do
I'm
you
not
think
too good at this stuff.
do you think this was poisonous?
I don't know how you're feeling.
Oh, you do know. So you know that it is not poisonous. However, the effect that it's having is it is diluting or the blood. It is making it thinner.
It doesn't seem to be, but boy, it's sure doing a number on your blood. Look at how much you're bleeding. It's like way too liquid.
So there are
Mm.
medications in the real world that
Yeah.
will thin the blood to have other effects, to
Mm-hmm.
avoid
Yeah.
clotting, other
Yeah.
things. Some people
Yeah.
know.
This is a bigger deal than.
Well,
So whatever has been injected into you through these thorns has done that. It has diluted your blood, thinned your blood, so that it takes a lot longer to stop, which is why you've taken so much damage there. You will also note upon like seeing this and upon administering this Lynx, you will notice that the milk of the plant has almost like bled into him. And while it's not a poison, you think that that thinning effect is coming from the milk.
wow. This seems like it could be kind of handy for some things, but boy, it's sure not doing you any favors.
Like what kind of things? I'm sorry, I'm not immune.
Well, I mean, have I've heard of people having, you know, problems where like their blood doesn't flow well enough and stuff. So kind of seems like something like this might help, you know?
Oh, like leeches.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe not. You know, sometimes, you hear about people having problems with their heart sometimes, maybe stuff like that. But since you're healthy, it's not such a good thing for you, clearly, because you're just, man, I've been putting pressure on this for a while now, and it's still it's still soaking
Right.
through the.
Can I get Lorenzo, please, to make me a resilience check?
Sure. Lorenzo, while we're doing this, comments. Well, at least I guess my humorous will be balanced. Lorenzo's clearly not wise in the ways of science.
And what I'm gonna do, I haven't done this for a while. Oh, that's okay. That's all right. Cool. Yep. So you succeed on that. Brilliant. And I am going. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, never mind.
I am going to also get, with those 2 threats, Lynx. Could you also make me a resilience check? I'm going to give you a boost because it's only 2 threats.
There it is. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh.
There are still some more threats in there, though. All right, so Lorenzo, you'll take 1 point of strain from the resilience check, but otherwise you are unaffected. Lynx, that is not 3 points of strain for you.
Okay.
Lynx, have you ever had an addiction?
None that I'm aware of.
All right. So
Maybe the chocolate.
Lynx, for the first time in her life, is feeling as if there's something that she wants desperately, but she doesn't know what it is, and she can't live without it at the same time. She's...
Oh, how awful. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So there's sweats of just not...
So she's having withdrawals and she's never.
Yeah, and she has no idea from what.
Oh my gosh. I don't feel so good all of a sudden. And as I keep pressure on his wound, I use my free hand to get my the cap off of my canteen or whatever, and try to take a big drink of water because I feel so hot and sweaty all of a sudden.
Right, your water tastes
And
metallic to you.
I probably drink a lot of it before that hits me, and then I like spit it out because it doesn't taste right.
Yeah, it tastes really, really metallic. Like, yeah, horrible.
Oh, something must be wrong with my canteen.
So, Lorenzo, she's managed to stop the bleeding after what seems like forever, but she's sweating. You can see the beads of perspiration breaking out on her forehead. You can see that her eyes are starting to defocus a little bit, and you can see that she's like she's starting to drink like a whole ton of water, and then she spits it out as if it's just like the worst thing that she's tasted.
So Lorenzo looks at this because Lorenzo's been around a lot of addicts.
Oh yeah.
Let's be real here. Like Lorenzo has seen a lot of things. He's seen people being forced to become addicts. He's seen the worst.
Yeah.
The first thing he's looking at is her eyes.
Yeah.
Do her pupils dilate when looking at his blood, or do they dilate when looking at the flower?
Perception, I guess.
Correct. Cool.
1 second. Yep. Yeah, perception.
Okay. Obviously, there's going to be small dilations regardless, especially as she's tweaking out. But I mean, like, big. I mean, like.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to give you a boost because you've been around people like this.
Perception. Where the heck is my perception?
I get out a piece of jerky.
Is there perception? I'm sure there is.
Oh, yes.
Oh, there's nothing there. So that's a
Oh,
blank.
Mom.
Okay, how do we
Dang.
inform this? You've seen a lot of people, going through things. But you ask Links a couple of key questions which you know to ask around these people to really identify, and she's not exhibiting the things that you would think would precipitate this, especially in the lines of, because she uh, Chris has informed us that Lynx hasn't had an addiction, and so those signs, those things that Lorenzo would know, aren't here. But yeah, so he does see that there's dilation, but he can't get a lock on exactly what it is that makes the dilation happen. It seems erratic to you.
Okay, Lorenzo wants to do one more thing. I
Sure.
take off my bandage, right? That's soaked in blood.
Yeah.
And I hand it to her.
Yeah. All right. So, Lynx, Lorenzo has just handed you a bloody bandage.
What am I supposed to do with this?
Well, if you're a vampire, you can.
I just wanted to see. When you smell it, does anything happen?
I give it a sniff.
um.
I'm assuming nothing.
Yeah. I mean, it just smells of blood.
Okay.
I'm thinking maybe my eyes don't dilate.
Right.
I mean, maybe they do some weird stuff, but they don't like dilate and stay dilated.
Yeah. And really, like, to be honest with you, your check was a success. I'm giving you these things, these
Yeah.
secondary effects out of the threats. So after a few minutes, these things go away, okay? Because I'm using threats, not a failure. If I was using a failure, this probably wouldn't immediately go away. But within a few minutes, once you've sort of tried to drink and you couldn't, and you try again and you couldn't, you just can't, like, it's just too metallic in your mouth after a few minutes, and then you like, and then, your focus comes back, you stop, you're a bit shaky. Okay, so you've got a little bit of
Yeah.
shake in your fingers that is a little disconcerting, and I think that word, just feeling a little bit disconcerted, is the end result after these things, and you're like, I'm not sure what just happened, but that was uncomfortable, right?
Yeah. I think I look at I kind of look at my hands shaking, and my eyes probably kind of widen, like, what the heck? And I mean, here's this like agile, dexterous character, and she's shaking. So
Right.
like for her, that's like,
So what I can give you from all of this, and we'll probably wrap up here, um, your characters can work out without any more checks
Yeah, it's a
that this
drug.
substance, it has some pretty substantial effects. Not only does it thin the blood, but it potentially has some sort of narcotic um, ability or effect. Um, so yeah.
Hey, Ashley. Are you there, Ashley?
Sure that they are, but maybe just walked away for a second or
Oh, I see.
back.
Thanks, my friend. Are you alright?
I feel a little better now.
No,
Whatever it was, it seems to be passing, but
but
wow, that was really weird.
are you?
I felt really strange.
That is fair. It is probably wise that we leave it wrapped in this cloth. Um, but are you all right?
You guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yep.
You shared something about your family that you've never shared with me.
Mm,
Seems
yeah.
to be like on and off, Mary. I'm not sure.
Is it?
It, isn't something I like to talk about too often, but I don't know, something about that place just made me want to open up. And when I look you in the eye, there's kind of probably there's kind of tears shining. You know, they're not falling down my face, but my eyes are bright.
Mm.
Um, probably not helped along by the experience I just had. So yeah, I think we should find something to wrap that in and maybe move on. And I kind of look away like,
I like lightly punch Lynx's shoulder. Fine, you're tough. You'll get tougher.
Out of character.
Yeah.
Do we have a alchemist of sorts? Like, is it this game that we have?
We have a grand druid.
We do have a
Okay.
Grand Druid, and we also have
Absent-minded.
absinthe-minded. Yeah.
Yes, there we go.
oh,
Yeah, Ashley had mentioned like perhaps we could take it to absent-minded and
Uh, uh,
yeah, look at it, or
we
that
can-
our druid friend.
but I agree. We can do that along the way, but we really need help if we're going to deal with someone who can outland.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, but I think your wound might need to be looked at again too.
Yeah.
That just how thin your blood got. I don't know if it's gonna stay. You may have problems with it, like reopening. You know?
It seems like now that you've got it under control, like it was the time that it took was a bit longer, right? Like than normal. But now that
Hmm.
it is under control, you could unwrap it and see that it is taking, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna be an issue again unless something similar happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
He winks with one eye, like he closes his right eye, leaving his left eye open. Kind of like tries to brush back his hair so his eye is easily seen, and he'll whip out his missing nipple again. Don't worry, it is not the only scar. I have. If anything, it'll just make me tougher looking. You can see him look wistfully as if he's already contemplating the lines he'll use for his hand injury.
Yes.
Oh, it really works with the ladies, huh?
Mm.
Hmm.
All right.
I
So
was thinking something along the lines of working hard with my hands.
You're a hard worker, eh?
I'll work on that night.
um
Oh, well, I wonder. Yeah, maybe we better keep that thing wrapped and just. I don't know. Do we need to worry about who who sees this? If I mean, if people have been coming And at that, I kind of stop and I look at the farmhand guy. I think he's still here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I look at him and you know, like a thoughtful look crosses my face, and um, are you who all has been who's been looking into this? Who's been paying so much attention to this plant?
Yeah. So he would take you back to the house because he doesn't remember. He would take you back to the house and he would show you uh, effectively like a finance book of incoming and outgoing monies. And written in one of the columns is an offer. Um, and then it's sort of been scribbled out, but you can still read it. Um, and it sort of says Edwardo Montelbaun makes offer uh, for thorny plants in at edge of farm sort of thing, and then it's been crossed out as if
Okay.
yeah. So we learn that Eduardo Montalban had made an offer
He's the one.
plant after it being just a weed for generations. There we go. All right, so I will wrap up the session here. So I'm going to say that we report back what we've learned to Rontaltain once we've um, found all of this stuff out. I will establish what we do with the plant next time, but Rontal has a couple of things for us. First of all, from me, your GM, this is the end of this little arc. So we have four main arcs for or for what are levels in the Pathfinder version. So we've just come to the end of a Pathfinder level here, just so that you guys understand that where sort of how the story is unfolding and how it's sort of situated. Um, and so we will get a little bit of extra experience here as we report all this stuff back into Rontal. And he will tell us about a couple of things that he would like us to do in the coming days after thanking you for your due diligence and recommending that you definitely see both our absinthe minded and the druid. He says that actually Grelboyne, the master druid, he's actually into plants, like a lot into plants. So he says that that's probably a good place to start. But he will invite you as a personal quest to come and have dinner with him and his dad. So that can be for next time. He will tell you about a brunch that he has organized based on your proficiency and everything that you guys have done. Um, he has recommended you to Mordrin de Cannith, the leader of the House de Cannith Enclave here in Throneport, and that Mordrin has something that he would like for a trusted group of adventurers to do, and Rontal believes that you are capable of the task and asks you to go and have brunch with Mordrin to figure out, like, to hear what that might be and to decide whether you'd like to. And he also says that he would like us to meet with Casimir, the Inquisitive, at the Feral Dog on Saturday. Um, and I will put Saturday in there. So it's Thursday now. On Saturday at 11 a.m. And apparently, like, he says that he uses Casimir as an information broker, as a private investigator, and apparently Casimir has uncovered more details about what we've already done in regards to what's happening with the sewers, with other stuff. So Ronto's basically gone and gotten some more information, and he'll say that he'll pass on everything that you found out today as well to Casimir, and hopefully Casimir will get more and more information for you and have that for you on Saturday. And so there's that. The brunch with Mordrin de Cannith is at 10 a.m. Friday. So it looks like the next couple of days we have a few sort of things. The dinner is tonight, Thursday. So yeah, he's given you those couple of things. You can all have 10 XP for this session that you can apply to things that make sense for you. As we have officially finished the first sort of level slash mini story arc, and obviously these things continue on, but there are 4 of these in the first chapter. So this kind of pacing of, what is this now, 5 sessions, is kind of where I want to be. Maybe even a little bit quicker because we only can play monthly, but this is kind of where I want to be as far as pacing. If there's any feedback, I will stay online here once I finish the recording, but I'm just going to finish that up. In the time between, I will also post some item rewards, but for now, from me, thank you all for playing. Anybody that's watching, thank you for watching. Hope that it's been enjoyable. Been wonderful to spend time with my good friends again here, and we will be back approximately in a month's time ish, and that should be good. I'm going to stop this recording now. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.